Can you imagine a prosperous financial life, saving and investing wisely, and watching your money grow long term? Here at Riquezas de la Biblia, we're going to talk about how biblical principles can change the way you see finances. Many people believe that being rich is incompatible with a life of faith, but in reality, the Bible is full of teachings on how to manage our wealth well. Even Jesus spoke in parables about business, investments, and the importance of a prosperous mindset. In this video, you'll discover the 7 biblical secrets to making money and achieving prosperity in a way that honors God. We'll see how characters like Abraham applied these principles and achieved incredible wealth. The key isn't in loving money, but in understanding that God desires us to live a full life, free from financial worries, but always centered on Him. So if you want to know the Bible's teachings on prosperity and how you can apply them in your life, stay with us until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to Riquezas de la Biblia, activate the notification bell, and leave your like. This ensures you won't miss any of our upcoming videos that will help you discover the hidden treasures in God's Word. Let's begin. Step 1. Breaking religious and scarcity mindsets. Many believe that wealth and faith are incompatible, but the Bible shows us a very different view. Jesus, in several of his parables, spoke about finances, interest, and investments, making it clear that knowing how to manage our resources is part of a life of faith. Being prosperous doesn't mean loving money. The problem lies in attachment, not in the prosperity that comes from God's blessings. The Bible teaches us that God desires His children to live without financial worries, but always with their hearts focused on Him. Abraham, for example, had the conviction that he was already blessed, walking confidently in God's promise. He didn't depend on his possessions to feel secure. He knew that everything he had was the result of divine blessing and his obedience. However, many carry a scarcity mindset, believing that seeking prosperity is a spiritual deviation. But the truth is that a healthy financial life allows us to bless more people and contribute to the growth of God's kingdom. Abraham lived with the certainty that his prosperity was part of God's purpose for him, and that confidence made all the difference in his journey. The first step to achieving prosperity is to adopt a blessed mindset, living without fear of the future and knowing that God provides all things. Prosperity is not a sin. It is a responsibility that calls us to be good stewards. When we understand this, we free ourselves from insecurities and move forward with more faith, putting our gifts and resources at the service of a greater purpose. From this perspective, we must break with the religious mindset of scarcity and understand that we are already blessed. God desires us to be a reflection of His goodness and to use our resources to do good. Abraham is a living example that trusting in the divine promise is what enables us to live in peace and abundance. Step 2. Learning to save and invest in abundance. Many live with a mentality of spending everything they earn, focusing only on paying bills and forgetting the principle of saving and investing. The Bible shows us that to have an abundance, we must learn to save part of our earnings and invest in the future. This step goes beyond simply covering our immediate needs. It's about building a solid financial foundation. Abraham understood this principle well, accumulating livestock, land, and resources that ensured his lasting prosperity. In modern times, this concept translates into the principle of paying yourself first, reminding us that we must set aside a portion before focusing on expenses. As Christians, our first fruits belong to God, and then we must think about our own savings and investments. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 6 tells us, "Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well." This verse encourages us to sow constantly and not depend on a single source. Saving and investing are essential steps to see the fruit of our effort long term and to be prepared for any unexpected situation. The act of saving and investing prepares us for the future and gives us the ability to take advantage of opportunities that may arise. This planning mindset is key for those who wish to achieve prosperity. Saving a portion of what we earn, like Abraham, is an act of faith and vision as we believe in a tomorrow where God will grow our finances. So if you're looking for prosperity, start applying this biblical principle. Learn to prioritize your saving and investing, trusting that God will help you multiply those resources. This step can make a big difference, leading you towards a stable and abundant financial life, just as God desires for His children. Step 3. Cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. Abraham did not have an employee mindset, but an entrepreneurial one. He saw every opportunity as a possibility for growth and expansion, focusing on creating and managing his own resources. This mindset allowed him to prosper in a way that would have been impossible if he only depended on others. Like Abraham, we must adopt this vision if we want to achieve true prosperity. The Bible shows us that God calls His children to be leaders and administrators, not just dependents. A great entrepreneur can change cities, states, and even nations, and that was Abraham's impact. His ability to make decisions and take risks helped him expand his possessions and bless those around him. The owner's mindset allowed him to be the head, not the tail. Many fall into a survival mindset, focusing on receiving a salary and living from paycheck to paycheck. But instead of settling for the basics, we must aspire to more. Abraham's story teaches us that God calls us to multiply, not just to preserve what we have. This entrepreneurial mindset, focused on administration and expansion, is fundamental for those seeking lasting prosperity. To achieve abundance, we must begin to see ourselves as stewards of the resources God has entrusted to us, looking for ways to make them grow. The entrepreneurial mindset involves trusting God while taking calculated risks and learning to manage our finances. Abraham knew that his prosperity did not depend on a single job, but on his ability to see beyond and act with wisdom. Adopting this vision is not just a financial strategy, it is a way of living with purpose and determination. Like Abraham, we need to think like owners and seek growth opportunities. When we trust God and act with an entrepreneurial mindset, we move towards a life of abundance and success that can bless many. Step 4. Diversifying resources. One of the greatest secrets to Abraham's wealth was that he never put all his resources in one area. He diversified his possessions among livestock, land, silver, and gold, ensuring that in times of crisis he had different forms of sustenance. The Bible teaches this principle in Ecclesiastes 11 verse 2. Divide your portion to 7, or even to 8, for you do not know what misfortune may occur on the earth. In the world, diversification is a key strategy to ensure financial stability, and this principle remains valid today. Like Abraham, those who wish to prosper must seek different sources of income and not depend on a single job or investment. This not only protects our finances, but also opens doors for growth in various areas. When we distribute our resources, we create a safety net that helps us withstand market changes and unforeseen circumstances. Instead of putting all our eggs in one basket, we should look for opportunities in real estate, financial investments, or even digital businesses. Just as Abraham multiplied his livestock and properties, we too can diversify our income streams. This strategy is not just a matter of security, but of wisdom. By diversifying, we are taking care of the resources that God has given us, and in the process, we expand our possibilities of achieving long-term prosperity. Abraham understood that by investing in different areas, he was preparing for the future and strengthening his financial position. Following this biblical principle of diversification is a smart way to protect and grow our assets. By expanding our options, we are better prepared to face any financial challenge and move towards a stable and abundant life, always trusting that God guides our steps. Step 5. Practicing generosity. Abraham understood from the beginning that generosity is a fundamental pillar on the path to prosperity. A clear example of this was his relationship with his nephew Lot. When a conflict arose between their herdsmen, Abraham, instead of imposing his will, allowed Lot to choose the best portion of land first. This act of generosity not only avoided a dispute, but also showed his confidence that God would continue to bless him. The Bible reminds us that it is better to give than to receive, a principle that Abraham applied in his life. He did not see wealth as something exclusively for himself, but as a resource to bless others. His willingness to share what he had opened doors for God to prosper him even more. By giving, we sow a seed that, at the appropriate time, will bring us abundant harvests. This act of generosity not only benefits those who receive, but also those who give. God calls us to be generous not only with our material possessions, but also with our time, knowledge, and support. By helping others, we are contributing to the well-being of our community and strengthening our own lives, just as Abraham did. In today's world, this principle translates into caring for those around us and contributing to the growth of our community. Generosity is not a loss. On the contrary, it is an investment in the kingdom of God and in the well-being of those around us. Like Abraham, we are called to share our blessings and to act as channels of God's goodness. So if you wish to see abundance in your life, start practicing generosity. By giving of what we have, we are following Abraham's example and activating a cycle of blessing that can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. True wealth is not accumulated, it is multiplied when we share. Step 6. Patience and faith in growth. Abraham's prosperity was not built overnight. It was the result of unwavering faith and constant patience. In the Bible, we see how God promised him a great lineage, but Abraham had to wait many years to see that promise fulfilled. This principle teaches us that true wealth requires time, effort, and the ability to trust in God's process. Abraham is called the father of faith precisely because he believed against all hope. He did not compare himself to others or doubt God's promises, but maintained his faith and pressed on. Like Abraham, we must remember that there is a time and purpose for everything. As King Solomon said, we should not despair or abandon our dreams because results do not come immediately. It's easy to want quick rewards, but the Bible shows us that the most valuable blessings require perseverance. Joseph, for example, also waited a long time before seeing his dreams realized. On our path to prosperity, it is essential to maintain faith and remember that God is working even if we don't see immediate results. Faith in times of uncertainty is key to building lasting wealth. We must resist the temptation to compare ourselves to others and trust that our day will come. Abraham believed in God's promise even when circumstances seemed impossible, and his example shows us that if we persevere, the reward will finally come. So if today you find yourself waiting for results in your finances or in any area of your life, remember Abraham's patience. Continue working with faith, trusting that God fulfills His promises at the right time. The blessing you are waiting for may be closer than you imagine. Stand firm, and you will see the abundance that God has prepared for you. Step 7. Family legacy and lasting prosperity. For Abraham, wealth was not just about accumulating material possessions, but about ensuring a prosperous future for his descendants. The Bible shows us that one of the most significant moments in his life was when he sought a wife for his son Isaac, ensuring that the legacy and blessings he had received would continue with future generations. This act teaches us the importance of thinking about our family's well-being beyond the present. True financial success is not measured only by what we accumulate, but by what we leave behind. Abraham understood that his life and prosperity were just the beginning of something greater. This legacy mindset is key for those who want their blessings to extend to their children and to the generations to come. The Bible calls us to teach them the value of money and how to manage it wisely. Today, leaving a financial legacy can mean saving for our children's education, securing a stable home, or planning our inheritance. This principle not only protects our family, but also gives them the foundation to build their own success. Like Abraham, we must ensure that our decisions today contribute to a prosperous future for our descendants. In addition to material wealth, legacy includes the values and principles we transmit. Abraham not only left a legacy of wealth, but also of faith and obedience to God. This approach reminds us that we must prepare our families not only financially, but spiritually, teaching them to trust God in all areas. So if you seek to build lasting prosperity, start by planning for future generations. Leave a legacy of blessings that goes beyond material possessions and includes the values that will guide your family on the right path. Following Abraham's example, we can ensure that our prosperity will endure and continue to be a source of blessing for those we love. Remember, Abraham's story is a powerful example of how faith combined with action can transform lives. In moments of doubt, stay firm in your vision and keep moving forward, knowing that the reward comes to those who persevere. The path to prosperity may have challenges, but it is this journey of perseverance and trust that leads us to a blessed future. If you wish to deepen your knowledge and transform your financial life, explore more of our content. Just click on the suggested videos on the screen. We'll see you in the next video.